Hello! Today we are going to be working on cause and effect. So, your goal for today is to be able to understand what cause and effect is. And then your language goal, I guess it tilts a little bit. I will create a multi-flow map about cause and effect. So, we are going to read a Thanksgiving story. Looks like a good one. It is A Turkey for Thanksgiving by Eve Bunting. We have a whole bunch of books by this author in the library. So if you like it, I can pull some for you from the library. Okay. Here we go. It was Thanksgiving morning. Mr. Moose helped Mrs. Moose set the Thanksgiving table. Sheep will sit here. He likes a chair that's straight up and down. Mr. Moose said, Rabbit here, Porcupine here, Mr. and Mrs. Goat here. He smiled at his wife. Isn't it nice to have friends to share Thanksgiving? Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Moose are getting the table ready for Thanksgiving. Okay, that would be the effect. The cause would be that they have friends coming over for the holiday. So they have friends coming over for the holiday. That's the cause. The effect is they're getting the table ready with all the places around it. Mrs. Moose set two paper programs, one at each end of the table. She placed the paper turkey with its great fan of a tail between the candles. And stood back. They look good, my dear, Mr. Moose said. Mrs. Moose sighed. Yes, but I wish we had a real turkey. Everyone always has a turkey for Thanksgiving, everybody but us. Mr. Moose nuzzled Mrs. Moose's head. Well, that won't do. I will go this minute and find you a turkey for Thanksgiving. Mr. Moose put on his cap and went out. Mist wandered through the bare trees. The cold made his nose water. The cold made his nose water. Rabbit poked his head from his rabbit hole. Mr. Moose, is it dinner time? Not quite yet. Mrs. Moose wants a turkey. I'm off to find one. Rabbit joined him in 3 quick hops. I'll come too. Moose's warm breath hung white in front of him. Snow crunched under his hooves, and he made little holes that Rabbit could jump over. I see goats, Rabbit said. Mr. Goat raised his head and spat out the tin can he was chewing. Is it dinner time? He called out. Not till I find a turkey, said Mr. Moose. We saw one down by the river, Mrs. Goat told him, and Mr. Goat added, a fat one. Okay, let's find out if they find that. The goat leaps down from their perch. We'll show you. Sheep was further up the hillside looking down as the fur ball in his winter coat. Is it dinner time? He bellowed. First I have to find a turkey, Mr. Moose bellowed back. There's a turkey nest by the riverbank, Sheep called. Wait for me. The earth smelled of ice and moss as they crunched along. Above them, a crow hung black as a puff of wood smoke. There's a simile. Black as a puff of wood smoke. Porcupine was hiding in the underbrush. It's you, he said, and he put his quills down. We're off to get a turkey for Mrs. Moose, Mr. Moose exclaimed. Do you want to come? I'm slow, Porcupine said. Pick me up on your way back. Who do you want to pick up? Sheep asked, laughed at his bleat. I'll wait, Porcupine told Mr. Moose. They saw Turkey's nest right away, and Turkey himself peering over the top of it. Turkey, Turkey, Mr. Moose called in his sweetest voice. Ah! Turkey blundered from his nest and ran. Mr. Moose lumbered after him. Turkey, don't run. We just want you for Thanksgiving dinner. Turkey ran faster. He's saying, "Do not disturb. Come back after Thanksgiving. No turkey here." Mr. Moose saw the red and blue sheen of Turkey's neck. Turkey's tail brushed crumbs of snow behind him as he tried to fly. "Too fat," Mr. Goat said. Turkey's legs bent in the middle as he fell. Mr. Moose put his booted hoof on his head and smiled. His great toothy smile. "I hope you don't have other plans for Thanksgiving, Turkey." Look at Turkey. He doesn't look very happy. There was a wreath of dried fruit on the moose's door. Inside the house was filled with Thanksgiving smells. Mr. Moose hid Turkey behind him. "Look who I brought, Mrs. Moose," he said. "Sheep, the goats, rabbit, and porcupine, and ta-da!" He pushed Turkey around in front of him. "Are you ready for you? A turkey for Thanksgiving." Poor Turkey, he looks terrified. Moose clapped her hooves. "I'm so happy to have you, Turkey. Thank you, Mr. Moose. Now everything's perfect. Shall we sit?" Sheep headed straight for the up and down chair. "Let's." Mr. Moose pointed. "Rabbit here, Porcupine here, Mr. and Mrs. Goat here, and look, I brought a chair from the other room in hopes of a turkey." A chair?" Turkey stammered. "Right next to me," Mrs. Moose said. "Light the candles, Mr. Moose." There were bowls of acorns and alfalfa sprouts dried since summer. There was a willow barked and cured grasses and wild parsley. There were pressed leaves, thin and pale as new ice on the pond. There's another simile. "I hope you find something here to your liking, Mr. Turkey," Mrs. Moose said. "I wasn't sure of your taste." "You're so kind to worry about my taste," Turkey said. "I thought you'd be worrying about how I'd taste." "Heavens, no!" Mr. Moose smiled. His big toothy smile and filled everyone's cup with cold spring water. "It's so nice to have friends around the table at Thanksgiving." Turkey's wattles wobbled. "It's even nicer to be at your table and not on it," he said. "Happy Thanksgiving, everybody." Happy Thanksgiving, Turkey. Okay, so let's look at the cause and the effect real quick. So the cause of all of everything that happened, right, was our Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, so that was our main cause, right? So we're going to put this first, okay? Because it was Thanksgiving dinner, Mrs. Moose wanted Mr. Moose to find a turkey for Thanksgiving, right? Mrs. Moose wanted a turkey, and we didn't know that it was to join them, did we? I thought maybe it was to eat. Mrs. Moose wanted a turkey for dinner, right? Okay, I'm gonna have to get rid of my gator. Okay, so because she said to Mr. Moose, "I want a turkey for Thanksgiving dinner," so then Mr. Moose looked for a turkey, right? And then other animals joined in his hunt, right? That would also be an effect. And then our last thing would be Turkey joined him for dinner because they did find him, right? That could also be another effect. All right. So you are going to have a cause and effect activity attached to this. So do a great job. I know you will. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.